the stealing and start the keeping.
Travel through the world because we will not to kill the rise of the man. When he comes to the change is in your hand. Get your PDP and let the march to the change.
Another drama begins in the House of Stock.
So now let's go back to yesterday's rally in Ogun State at the MKO Abiola Stadium in Ogun State, where Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the presidential candidate of the APC, is said to, we've heard it directly said in Yoruba, and thanks for the translation, saying that despite the fuel, holding of the fuel, despite the redesigning of the Naira, or even holding of it, they will still win. So let me ask the question that came to a number of people are asking, following his statement. Number one, who are the powers that be? He wasn't specific, was quite vague. He said the powers that be. The last time we checked, and that's fact, the powers that be currently are members of his party. APC is the ruling party. Number two, the powers that be, the Minister of Petroleum is who? The President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Indeed, yesterday, it was announced that we spoke about the fact that he had instituted a 14-man committee to look into this fuel scarcity that has persisted since October of last year, despite promises and efforts by, NNPC, complaints by MOMAN and the likes. It has still persisted. So that's the first question. The second question is that how does the redesigning of the Naira or the unavailability of Naira affect his particular campaign or the presidential election? We have 18 presidential hopefuls. Why is it only the APC presidential candidate that is worried about the redesigning of the Naira and saying that it is an act to sabotage his campaign? That's a question that he must answer, actually. Why is the fact that there won't be, this push for a cashless policy in the country? Why is it why is it affecting his campaign so much? How does the redesigning of the Naira distract from him being president of Nigeria? These are the questions that we should begin to ask when they make statements like this. We must pay close attention to what is being said and what is not being said. Recall 2019 elections. He hasn't yet answered, at least to a satisfactory manner, to why there were 2 bullion vans that went, drove into his Bodilon home. Is this an election based on money? Now more than ever, we must, as Nigerians, understand the importance of this policy at this point. The need for it to be on the 31st of January, the importance of ensuring that during this election, it must be the people's will and the people's choice, not induced by money, that would vote in the next president of Nigeria. And so we will continue to have conversations like that. Let the presidential candidates keep on speaking. The Nigerian people are listening. But Governor Godwin Emefiele has said, and it remains sacrosanct, go and deposit your old notes. Come 31st of January 2023, it will no longer be legal tender. 1,000 Naira, 500 Naira, and 200 Naira. And kudos to the Central Bank of Nigeria for the efforts they are making to ensure that they are taking this message to the hinterlands of the nation, to ensure that the cash swap program, the sensitization program, they are having massive campaigns in these areas to ensure that they are able to deliver come 31st of January 2023.
Okay, I've been in this business of public affairs journalism since 1985. That will be 38 years, right? I've never seen anything like what happened yesterday in Abeokuta with the APC presidential candidate. After all, we monitored all the elections, even Babangida's failed, aborted election, the 1993 election, and all elections since then, and I've been commenting on all of this. But what happened in Abeokuta yesterday is surprising. It's a major twist in the tale, both at a historical level and also at a contemporaneous level, where you will have the candidate of a ruling political party throwing his own party under the bus. That's precisely what the candidate of the APC said yesterday. Of course, when he referred to powers that be trying to sabotage him, which powers are there? The only powers that be, would seem to be the APC government. That is at this time the dominant party in the country. So the first indication that that threw across is that the candidate himself has doubts about the support of his own party. Because he was saying fuel scarcity. If they like, let them not give you fuel. If they like, let them change Naira design. These are policies of the Muhammadu Buhari administration. This was a case of the presidential candidate of the APC criticizing the chairman and leader of his own party. This is just the simple truth. And he was unequivocal about it. And he told his audience, they want to scuttle this election. Will you allow them? It's the APC that is in possession right at this moment of all the coercive instruments of state. You can only scuttle the election if you have a negative mind with the coercive instruments of state. Because the coercive instruments of state are not supposed to allow anybody to sabotage the election. And those coercive instruments of state are in the possession of the APC and the president of Nigeria. So we seem to have reached a point now where the ruling government is criticizing itself. Because the candidate of the APC is a major state actor, whether you like it or not. So this speaks to division within the APC, I think. The second point, of course, is that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu says the next election is going to be a major revolution. Vote them out, take power from them. He's saying they should take power from his own party. I mean, that's contradictory. I'm trying to do just basic intelligent analysis, without, anybody reading any meaning into it. Now, he talked about the fuel scarcity. The same fuel scarcity on the same day that the Nigerian government told us that they had formed a committee to address the problem. And that the president of the country and the chairman, leader of the APC, where I use chairman in a descriptive sense because the president is the leader of his own party, is going to be the chairman of that fuel scarcity resolution committee. And then you have your own presidential candidate turning against you. And then a number of contradictions yesterday. Before now, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu had told us that the first thing he would do would be to remove fuel subsidy. Now, he was contradicting himself yesterday. He said he will do a revolution in Nigeria. He told the people what is coming is a massive revolution. The same massive revolution that he promised in 2015. He led the campaign. He said he put President Muhammadu Buhari there, and they promised all kinds of revolution, 1 Naira to $1. We have not seen that revolution. So what is the guarantee that, okay, the revolution that he's promising yesterday, will happen? He was telling his audience, look, if they don't give us fuel, we will trek. Who is going to trek so that he will be president? Is he going to provide, alternative forms of transportation? But the ideological point, the principal point, is how we have reached a point, this spectacle of a situation whereby the candidate of a ruling government would be condemning his own party. Is the most striking development in this electoral process. I don't know, I have not seen his handlers responding. Maybe they will say it was quoted out of context. It's very easy to blame the media and say journalists are being mischievous. They quoted our man out of context, but I thought we also saw it on television. And we also saw some people telling the candidate of the APC to off the mic, Well, if anybody does not want this election to hold, it cannot be the opposition parties, whose main ambition is to take power from the APC. So he says they don't want the election to hold. He didn't identify those people, but he's probably talking about members of his own party. And of course, the PDP has responded to say that, look, this candidate of the APC is getting desperate because he doesn't seem to be getting the support. A statement issued in Atiku's name says the candidate of the APC is criticizing the president of his own party. And what further evidence do Nigerians need? Okay, what I've tried to do is to just give a general description of the embarrassment that constitutes. One final point, and it is as follows. I hope that the handlers of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu would find a way of making sure that he doesn't go to Abeokuta again before the election, so that he doesn't do further damage. Because the other time that he went to Abeokuta, that was where he was doing Olule, Lekne, Olule, criticizing President Muhammadu Buhari, right? And Dino Melaye, trying to reenact that the other day in Delta State, almost missed a disc, so that we don't have, all kinds of accidents because of gaps. So maybe they should keep him away from Abeokuta, because he went to Abeokuta again and he has delivered this bombshell again, criticizing a government that he himself said he brought to power. So I don't understand this kind of self-contradiction, this kind of self-sabotage, and others will stretch it further and say all kinds of things. But I think, as a talking head analyst on television, I should just leave it there before, they say, oh, we were being misrepresented. There's no misrepresentation here. All of us listened to what he said and we saw it. And even when they said he should off the mic, he didn't off the mic. And all the people around him laughing and all that, we should bring to question their own sincerity. Are they talking to their candidate? Are they guiding him appropriately? Are they setting him up to fail? So it's not enough for people to just come and make noise and claim, we are in charge of this, we're in charge of this. Can people just apply basic intellect?
Dr. Abati, where do I even start? Okay, let me start from what I said within the week. 23, 24. Loroile Ayeje. Wasiu Masha was there yesterday. Orombo, Irong Parofuro, Ikembe case, that's how politicians are. So don't get lost in their shenanigans. When their interests don't align, they will abuse each other. Mr. Bola Tinubu now could abuse President Muhammadu Buhari because it's obvious there's friction within their camp. Their interests don't align. And there's reluctance. And that's why you see the first campaign President Muhammadu Buhari made for Bola Tinubu, he said, don't vote fraudulent people. And there was a back and forth reaction as regards that. But Dr. Abati, let me answer your question quickly before I start my analysis. You said, why is it that all of this used to happen in Abeokuta? I'll tell you why. In 1859, a certain British missionary called Henry Townsend started up a newspaper in Abeokuta called Iwe Iroyin, which is said to be the first newspaper, which is the forerunner to Nigerian journalism. So Abeokuta in this campaign has become the Ile Iroyin. That's why we're getting juicy gist out of Abeokuta. I'm just being cheeky there. And like you said rightly, the famous Emilokon speech was made in Abeokuta. And this one in Abeokuta. Long live Abeokuta. Egbawa, Dr. Abati. Let me move on by saying that it is just indicative. And please, I will make some inferences. It is a confirmation that President Muhammadu Buhari has failed Nigerians. And I'm happy Bola Tinubu alluded to the fact that President Muhammadu Buhari has failed by saying that artificial scarcity are caused by those in the powers that be. And President Muhammadu Buhari is petroleum minister. So when we tell their surrogates that there are indications that people have failed, people should also know that President Muhammadu Buhari was said to have failed by Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the presidential candidates. And Bola Ahmed Tinubu has also berated President Muhammadu Buhari. But I'm not surprised because, you see, if you get hoodwinked in this their joke, you will miss it. The reason why they are fighting now is their interests do not align. And people around him are also playing him. This is the biggest advice he will ever get. They are playing him because of the money they want to get for him himself. And that's why they can't tell him the truth. They will try to draw him out. You know, when they were pulling him back from talking, he said, don't pinch me. All the people around him too want to collect from him. And this is an objective advice. He likes, he takes it. He doesn't like, he doesn't take it. And we will wait when they will spin the story now by saying that, no, he was just talking about the things happening in the nation. He cares for the nation. That's why he's talking about fuel scarcity. Because we know that's how they're going to spin it. And they will abuse, and probably they will abuse Rufai and say, Rufai, you are very unprofessional. And they will write all sorts of articles. How not to be a journalist, Rufai Oseni. Very funny. He also went further to berate a policy that was made by the CBN to bring sanity to the system. The CBN Naira redesign policy is a policy that will help the growth of the country, and we're already seeing the evidence and the signs in the reduction in inflation numbers. He also went further, berating the CBN, and that's why Daniel Bwala reacted that maybe the presidential candidates of the APC are those that are behind the hits MFLA has been facing. He said that in an independent newspaper. The truth has to be said. Please leave Emefiele alone. It's not your problem. Leave the man to face his policy. And that 30th of January is sacrosanct. Nigerian people, please don't be hoodwinked in the conversation. You can see politicians are trying to push against this because of their own benefits. They've said it yesterday in the campaign. And in the coming days, they are still going to push to discredit the policy. You can call me a prophet or anything. Politicians are still going to push further. But please, Nigerians know that this is the best thing. I'm not saying there are not challenges, but the challenges are being addressed by the CBN as regards making the money available. And banks, please, make the Naira notes available. We are hearing occurrences of banks selling the money to some politicians, the new Naira notes. No, give it to the people. 31st, sorry, I wasn't correct on the date. All right, give the money to the people, not sell it to the politicians, you banks. Let the CBN policy work because it has come to stay, and stop hounding Mr. Emefiele. Leave him alone. We just want free and fair elections. And it's except if you buy votes that this will happen. But let me round up by saying this. He talked about fuel scarcity, and we've been looking for the solution to fuel scarcity. I want to throw some ideas forward. It's a problem of demand and supply. The NNPC is struggling with getting forex to pay from all the big partners they buy with abroad. There's short of supply. No matter the NNPC say they have enough in their barrels and enough in their tanks. We have 4 modular refineries in the country. But on my investigation, I discovered that those modular refineries, to get crude, they tell them to pay in dollars. These modular refineries can actually go a long way in ameliorating the problem of production within, because most of the modular refineries don't even get the crude to buy, or they are short supplied of the crude. Why don't the NNPC allow the modular refineries pay for crude in Naira, and from there, so that they can get crude, increase production, and we start to ameliorate these challenges? And as we all look at the grand plan of removing subsidies, because this system is not working. And that's a solution that I want all our presidential candidates to have talked about, rather than just talking about the fuel scarcity. We must have candidates that can provide solutions to the problems.
So Nigerians should vote for whoever they like from whichever party. Nobody will be allowed to mobilize resources and thugs to intimidate people in any constituency. That's what I want to go down into Nigerian history for.
DJNTV.
Welcome to DJNTV.
DJNTV. DJNTV. DJNTV. DJNTV.
Some of the delegates and ask the question.
DJNTV. DJ